The night my life shattered didn't start with thunder. It started with a whisper. "Bella," my mother called weakly from her bed, "turn off the light, darling. It's hurting my eyes." I glanced at her frail body, the way her skin seemed to fold over itself like wilted paper. The ceiling above her dripped again, another leak we couldn't afford to fix. I placed a bowl under it and turned off the light. The room went dark, except for the street lamp bleeding through the blinds. I was 22 and already felt 80. My mother's cough filled the silence, slow and tired. I sat beside her, holding her hand, pretending I wasn't scared. That's when the door creaked open. Victor Kane, our landlord, stood there with his usual crooked smile and a paper bag dangling from his hand. "Brought you both some soup," he said. "Thought you could use something warm tonight." His voice always dripped with something heavier than kindness. I forced a smile. "Thank you, Mr. Kane." He stepped in without waiting for an invitation. "Still raining, huh? Guess the roof's not gonna fix itself." I didn't look at him. He liked that, the power of being looked at or not. He set the bag down on our small table, too close to my mother's things. His eyes drifted to her, then to me. "You're doing your best, Bella. I admire that. The world's cruel to girls like you." I didn't know what to say, so I said nothing. He leaned closer, lowering his voice. "You ever need help with rent, with anything, you come to me. I'll make sure you're taken care of." The way he said "taken care of" made my stomach twist. Later that night, when he finally left, my mother whispered, "Don't let that man get too close. He's not who he seems." She was right. A month later, she was gone. Her death was quiet, like everything else in our lives. No funeral crowd, no flowers, just me, standing in the rain beside a cheap wooden coffin while Victor held an umbrella over us both. "You're not alone," he said, pretending to comfort me. "I'll help you get through this." He did help in his own way. He paid for the burial, covered the rent, and told me I could work at his real estate office to earn my keep. And just like that, my life belonged to him. The office was small, filled with the smell of old paper and his cologne. He made me manage files, clean, type letters, things that didn't need me, but kept me close. He took my mail, my calls, even held onto my ID for safekeeping. Some days he'd stand too close behind me, his breath warm against my neck. Other days he'd act fatherly, telling me how proud he was of my work. But the worst days were the quiet ones, the ones where he said nothing at all, just watched. One evening, as I was locking up, I dropped my keychain. It rolled under his desk. I knelt to grab it, and that's when I saw it, a small, rusted drawer. My name was faintly scratched on the side, I Hart. I froze, my last name, my father's name. I tugged the drawer, but it was locked. Above it, hanging on the wall, was a ring of spare keys. One had a silver tag labeled "Old Files." I felt my heartbeat climb into my throat. For a moment, I almost left. Then I heard my mother's voice in my head, "Don't let that man get too close." I took the key. It didn't fit. I tried another, then another. Finally, the fourth one turned, a soft click. Inside, I found dozens of envelopes bound with rubber bands, some yellowed, some new, all addressed to Bella Hart, Guardian Account Division, Davenport and Mills LLP, New York. My full names. Not Bella, not Kane, Hart. My hands trembled as I pulled one open, a legal letter, a trust account renewal, my father's name at the top, Alexander Hart. I didn't breathe. Another letter, a signature, his. And another, a copy of a will. I sank to the floor, surrounded by my own stolen life. That's when Victor's voice cut through the silence. "What are you doing?" He was standing in the doorway, eyes dark, jaw tight. I scrambled to my feet, clutching the letters. You took these, you've been hiding them." He stepped forward, slow, dangerous. "You shouldn't have touched that drawer." "You stole my inheritance," I whispered. "You made me believe we had nothing." He laughed, low and bitter. "Inheritance? You were a child. You think I'd let a girl like you ruin everything? I kept you safe, I kept you alive. By lying to me. By protecting you from a world that would have eaten you alive. You needed me." He lunged forward and tried to grab the letters. I shoved him back with all my strength. He hit the wall, stunned. "Don't ever touch me again," I said, voice shaking. "You won't survive out there," he shouted. "You have no money, no home, no one." Then I'll survive with nothing, I said and ran. The rain outside hit harder than ever. I ran until the lights of the street blurred, the papers clutched to my chest like oxygen. When I finally stopped, I ducked into an old bus shelter, soaking, trembling, still holding the letters. I tore one open and read. To my dearest Isabella. If you're reading this, it means you've found your way back to me. I left the company in your name, my legacy in your hands. You are my only heir, my only child. Find the firm, they'll know what to do. Your father, Alexander Hart. Tears burned my eyes, my father, alive long enough to write this, to plan for me. And Victor had stolen it all. I pulled my old phone from my pocket, cracked, almost dead, and typed the name on the letterhead. Davenport and Mills LLP. It rang twice. Then a calm male voice answered, Davenport and Mills, this is Julian Ross. My voice shook. My name is Isabella Hart. I think my father left something for me. There was silence on the other end. Then, Miss Hart, where have you been? We've been trying to contact you for years. My heart pounded so loud I could barely hear him. Your father's estate has been locked pending your signature, he said quickly. We thought you were dead. Dead. I looked out into the rain and whispered, I was. If you're still watching this, hit that subscribe button, drop a red heart in the comments for Bella, and tell me what you think she should do next. The rain hasn't stopped since that night. I sit in the back of a nearly empty bus, staring at the blur of city lights through fogged windows. My phone buzzes again, it's Julian. I almost don't answer, but his name feels like the only solid thing left in my world. Bella, where are you? His voice is urgent, cutting through the static. You can't go back to that apartment. I have nowhere else to go, I whisper. My voice sounds hollow even to me. You have me, he says. Listen, what I'm about to tell you isn't going to make sense at first, but you need to hear it. My stomach twists. What are you talking about? Your father didn't die the day they said he did. The words hit me harder than any of Victor's slaps ever could. Julian continues, his tone steady. Alexander Hart survived that plane crash. He was alive for almost a year before he passed away from his injuries. He left a will, Bella, a legal document naming you his sole heir, but someone intercepted it. The person listed as your guardian was Victor. The bus slows at the next stop. I can't breathe. He was never your legal guardian, Julian says quietly. He faked the papers. Your father's estate was supposed to be transferred to you on your 18th birthday. Every letter, every notification, every document, they were all sent to that apartment, and Victor kept them from you. My hands shake so badly I nearly drop the phone. He stole everything, I whisper. Julian exhales. I'm sorry, Bella, but we can fix this. I've found evidence, documents, signatures, I can prove it. Meet me at Cafe Midtown in an hour. I end the call and stare at my reflection in the glass. The girl looking back doesn't look like an heiress. She looks like a ghost who's just realized she was alive all along. The bus lurches to a stop outside my old neighborhood. I don't even know why I go back. Maybe it's instinct. Maybe it's the tiny hope of taking something, anything, before Victor erases me completely. The stairwell smells of bleach and mold. My key still works. Inside, the apartment feels smaller, colder. My old drawings are gone, replaced by Victor's ugly trophies and half-empty whiskey bottles. I slip into my mother's room and open the drawer where she used to keep her jewelry. It's empty, except for her pendant, a silver heart with my father's initials engraved inside. I clutch it tight, then I hear footsteps. Bella, his voice is slurred but dangerous. You think you can just walk out on me? I duck behind the door as Victor's shadow stretches across the hallway. He's talking to himself, muttering curses. The front door slams open wider. He's closer now. My heartbeat is so loud I can barely think. I move silently toward the kitchen window, the same one I used to sneak through as a kid. The rain hits my face as I push it open and climb out, landing in a puddle below. Behind me, Victor shouts my name, his voice echoing through the alley. I run until my lungs burn. By the time I reach Cafe Midtown, my clothes are soaked and my hair sticks to my face. Julian is already there, sitting by the window with a folder and 2 coffees. He stands the moment he sees me. You made it. I nod, trying to steady my breath. You said you have proof. He opens the folder. Inside are copies of legal documents, each stamped and dated. My father's name, Alexander Hart, my name, Isabella Hart. Julian's voice softens. Your father built one of the largest architecture firms in the country. After the crash, he signed an amendment to his will, ensuring that no one could access your inheritance until you came of age. But Victor forged a guardianship order. He's been collecting dividends and selling properties in your name for years. I stare at the pages, my tears blurring the ink. Why didn't anyone stop him? Julian looks down. He covered his tracks well until now. He pulls out an envelope. Inside is a letter, aged, folded, and signed by my father. If you're reading this, Bella, it means I couldn't make it back to you. But my love for you is written in every wall I ever built. Trust no one who hides your truth. One day you'll find it, and when you do, take it back. My chest aches. He knew, I whisper. He knew Victor would try to take it. Julian nods. He did. That's why he left this letter in the firm's vault under your name. I only found it when I traced the signature discrepancy on one of the accounts Victor tried to close. I wipe my eyes, so what now? Julian leans forward. Now we go to the records office. You'll verify your identity and I'll file a legal claim to freeze all assets under Victor's control. But we have to be careful. He's not going to let you go quietly. The bell over the cafe door rings. I freeze. Through the reflection in the window, I see a black car parked outside. Victor is in the driver's seat, a phone pressed to his ear. His eyes meet mine through the glass. Julian notices, is that him? I nod slowly. Don't look away, Julian says under his breath. If we panic, he wins. Victor smiles, a slow, cruel smile, and starts the engine. The car pulls away, but the message is clear. He knows exactly where I am. Julian stands. We need to move, now. We leave through the back alley, rain soaking us again. I grip my mother's pendant as thunder cracks overhead. For the first time, I'm not running from something. I'm running towards something, truth, justice, freedom. But deep down, I know this isn't over. Victor has money, connections, and rage, and I have nothing but the truth and the memory of a father who refused to let me disappear. As we step into the storm, I whisper, this ends tonight. Julian glances at me. You're ready for this. I meet his eyes, moory than ever. The camera pans up as lightning flashes behind us, the city skyline glimmering through the downpour. If you believe in second chances, hit that like button. And if you want to see justice served, subscribe, because what's coming next will shock you. We reach the records office just before midnight. The storm has turned the streets into rivers, thunder shaking the windows. My shoes squelch on the marble floor as we walk in, two drenched ghosts carrying the weight of a decade's silence. Julian flashes his ID to the sleepy security guard. Legal counsel for Bella Hart. She's here to verify sealed inheritance files. The guard glances at me, startled. Hart, as in Alexander Hart. I nod, his daughter. He hesitates, then unlocks the side door. Good luck, miss, you're going to need it. Inside, the air smells of dust and old secrets. Julian leads me to a long counter where a clerk in thick glasses yawns behind piles of folders. Form 48A, Julian says, heir verification. The clerk pulls out a file so worn it looks older than me. He flips it open, and there it is. My father's signature beside mine from when I was 10. He'd made me trace my name under his so I'd remember how to own it. Julian whispers, sign again right next to it. My hand trembles as I write, Bella Hart. The clerk stamps the form. Congratulations, Miss Hart. The system will recognize you as the legal successor within 24 hours. My throat tightens, it's done. Julian nods, you just took your life back. But the relief barely lasts a second. The power flickers. Outside, headlights slice through the rain. A black car pulls up. He's here, Julian says. We move fast through the back corridor down the emergency stairs. The storm slaps us in the face as we burst out into the alley. The car door opens. Victor steps out, his suit soaked, his smile sharp. Isabella, he says almost tenderly, running from family again. I straighten, you're not my family. He laughs, you think signing a few papers makes you powerful. Everything you have is because of me. You mean everything you stole. He takes a step closer, rain dripping from his hair. You were a child, you needed control, I gave you structure. You gave me fear. His voice hardens. You'll come back with me now. You'll say these documents were forged and maybe I'll forget this little stunt. Julian steps forward. The authorities already know Victor, the files are verified and a court order is on its way. Victor's eyes flicker, panic for half a heartbeat, then rage. You ruined everything. No, I say softly, you did. Behind us, blue lights flash. 2 police cars screech to a stop at the corner. Officers rush out, shouting orders. Victor freezes. Julian holds up his phone. I called them the moment we entered the building. You're under investigation for fraud, identity theft, and obstruction of inheritance. Victor looks at me one last time, pure venom in his eyes. You think you've won? I meet his stare, unblinking. No, I've survived. They pull him away. For the first time in years, the air around me feels light. The rain eases into a drizzle, almost gentle now. Julian touches my shoulder. It's over. But I shake my head. No, it's beginning. A week later, sunlight pours through the glass walls of Hart Enterprises. My father's name gleams in silver letters above the lobby. I still can't believe it's mine. Every corridor smells of memory, blueprints, coffee, the faint trace of his cologne. I stand in his old office, staring out over the city he built. Julian walks in with a stack of documents. The court finalized everything. You're officially the CEO. I turn to him, half smiling. You make it sound so easy. It won't be, he says, but you're ready. I glance at my father's framed photo on the desk. He always said buildings should stand for something. I want this company to stand for protection for every kid who's ever been silenced. Julian nods. I'll help you set up the foundation. We sit together drafting plans. For housing, for scholarships, for safe line networks. Every signature I make feels like rewriting the past. When we finish, I open my mother's pendant and place it beside my father's photo. She would have loved to see this, I whisper. Julian says quietly, you've done something even she couldn't, turned pain into purpose. The phone buzzes on the desk. Unknown number, I hesitate, then answer. A woman's voice trembles on the other end. Miss Hart, my name's Clara, I worked for Victor. I found letters he hid. They were from your father's lawyer addressed to you. There's more you should know. My heart pounds. Where are you? An old storage unit near the docks. I'm leaving town tonight. Please come alone. Julian mouths don't. But something inside me knows this is part of the closure I need. Text me the address, I say, and hang up. The storage unit sits at the edge of the harbour, the wind carrying the smell of salt and rust. Inside, dust floats like ghosts in the flashlight beam. Clara steps from the shadows, clutching a box. He paid me to destroy these, I couldn't do it. I open the box. Inside are envelopes, dozens of them, my name written in my father's handwriting, birthday cards, letters, notes. My knees buckle. I sit on the cold floor, reading the first one aloud. My dearest Bella, if you ever doubt who you are, remember, you come from love, not fear. Tears blur the ink. I whisper, thank you, Dad. Clara wipes her eyes. He wanted you to find them. I think he knew you. Survive him. When I leave the unit, dawn is breaking over the water. The first light paints the sky gold. I breathe it in, feeling whole for the first time. Julian's car waits by the curb. He gets out, anxious until he sees my face. You okay? I nod. Better than okay. I found my father's words. He smiles. Then you found yourself. We drive back through the waking city, and I can't stop smiling. Every billboard, every tower feels like a heartbeat from the man who believed I could rise again. As we cross the bridge, I open my phone and start recording. The city glows behind me. Hi everyone, I'm Bella Hart, the forgotten daughter who refused to stay forgotten. If my story reminds you that truth always finds its way, hit that like button. Drop a comment for anyone fighting to be seen. And don't forget to subscribe because we're building something beautiful from broken pieces. I look straight into the camera. This isn't the end, it's the foundation.